Yo, what's up, guys? So, wanted to share a few perspectives on how you can kind of make it in the online world and start living a radically different life from what you're living right now in a very short period of time. And a lot of people don't think it's possible to completely change your life in a very short span, but it is. Like, believe it or not, you can change your entire life in just 2 3 months if you do the right things. The way you do it, the easiest way to do it, is not going to be to start a business. It's not going to be to, go out there, master a skill, find your niche and find your ICP and start doing mindless outreach and creating a bunch of content. Right? That is the best path. That is the ideal path because when you're doing that, you're building something of your own. But in the beginning, just to make that change, to make that transition, a better path is out there. There is a more ideal path out there, and I have nothing to sell you. I'm not gonna push any bullshit onto anyone watching this. I'm just gonna say what worked for me, and then you can go out there and implement the same thing for you because it works, and it works for thousands of young guys, thousands of young women all over the world till this day. Okay, and the best way to do it is to get into online sales, remote sales. So get into something like high ticket closing or appointment setting or whatever it may be because it is so simple. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's simple, right? The way you do it is the first step is you fix your profile on your social media platforms, whether that's Twitter or IG or whatever it may be. So clean it up, make sure the bio looks good, make sure it's clear what it is that you do, have a nice profile picture where they can see your face, have some posts displaying a little bit of lifestyle or something you've done. And if you need to, if you don't have the followers, this is a little bit controversial, but I did this and it worked for me. You can buy a couple thousand followers for very cheap. The reason you want to do this is because when you reach out to these influencers, to pitch them the idea of working with them and closing their deals and answering their DMs to alleviate their time, you want to come off as somewhat professional. You don't want to be there with 3 followers and reach out to them and pitching them your closing services. You may be exceptional at what it is that you do, but they don't know you and they're just going to go off the first impression. So, what you want to do is you want to fix all that up. Make sure you have some followers that you can buy. It's very cheap. I don't know the exact places you can buy these followers, but you can just look them up and there are plenty of alternatives. Then make sure you have more followers than what you're following. And obviously, that's going to happen naturally once you buy these followers. Again, fix up your bio, fix up your profile, make sure everything looks good and professional. Then start looking for influencers or big profiles or coaches in particular, because coaches usually sell high ticket services, whether that's an info product or an actual coaching service or whatever it may be. So look for that and reach out to them with a little bit of personalization so you can actually come off as someone who's done a little bit of research. Talk about something you like from their content or something they've done, and then just get straight to the point. I'm a high ticket closer or an appointment setter, and I'm looking to help you alleviate time and help you make more money by you just continuing doing what you do best, which is post content and generate leads, and I'll handle the rest. You book the call on a calendar, I jump on the calls, I take them, I close them, and you pay me a commission of 10% or 5% or whatever, right? Depending on if you're a closer or a setter. Now, it's very difficult to get into closing the first thing you do. So setting is probably going to be your go-to. So it's going to be something like DM setting. So you reach out to them, you pitch them that, and you do that for a few people every single day. It can be like 10, 20, 30 people a day, and you just send some DMs. What this is going to do is eventually you're going to get an interview, you're going to speak to this coach, and one of them is going to place you on their offer. Now you're going to be able to handle their lead flow, their DMs, or maybe even if you get into closing right away, if you're lucky, you can start taking their calls. So they're going to book calls on a calendar. You take the calls, you jump on them, you close them, and you get paid a commission. So if they charge 5K for their services, you have a 10% commission, you make $500 per close. That's pretty damn good. And a lot of coaches are charging premium prices. So I started doing this, and I reached out to a lot of people until I got something out of it. It took me a while. I didn't really have a track record in appointment setting. I didn't really have any success in that. So I just went for, you know, closing because that's what I wanted to do. That's what I preferred. Then I reached out to hundreds of different coaches in different niches like fitness, trading, whatever it may be, right? And eventually I got this big fitness influencer that responded to me. And we had a little bit of back and forth for many months because he didn't need someone at that time, but he was still interested. And then eventually he placed me on an offer. And at that time, I was already in Thailand. I had booked a one-way ticket. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I got placed on a high ticket offer. I started closing deals. It made me money, and I was able to get a better offer, and I scaled that up to 13K as my highest month. And then I had a little bit of up and down. It went up, it went down. Like some months I made nothing. Other months when I say nothing, I mean very, very little. Other months I made several thousands, up to 10K per month. But my highest ever month was 13K. And that was from just doing these steps. This worked for me, and this was very, very simple. And by doing so, you don't have to build a business. You don't have to fulfill on any services. You just have to be present on the calls. You have to take the call, close them, and that's it. And then you get a commission, and now you have the geographical freedom. Now you can start traveling. Now you can start doing a little bit more what you want. You'll still be restricted to time zones and a specific schedule. You'll be able to kind of control how many calls you want to take per day, whether you want to take 4 or 5 calls per day. So that's 4 to 5 hours of work per day, plus a little bit of admin. However, it's a lot of flexibility. Even though you have to work a certain time zone, it's probably still better than what you have right now, where you have to show up at a job, you have to put in your 9 hours or however many hours you have to put in, and there's commuting, to the office and from the office, and the entire day just gets wasted. You can completely change your life in just 2-3 months. If you do this diligently and you do this consistently, you can land an offer in just 2-3 weeks in an appointment setting, more than likely. It's probably not going to be closing to start up with, but appointment setting is the path you're probably going to start out on. Then you're going to close leads. You're probably going to make 2 to 3K, doing that as an appointment setter if you have a good offer. And with that money, you can start doing a little bit more of what you want. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do a lot with that money, but it's still going to change your life. In a very short period of time, you can start traveling, you can start being free, creating content, focusing on your personal brand, maybe starting a business at the side, because it's so sustainable to have a role as an appointment setter or a high ticket closer while you're building your own business. That's what I'm doing right now, right? I've been in closing for a good while, but then it came to a point where I realized I wanted to start my own business. So right now what I'm doing is I'm closing for an e-commerce info product offer, a coaching offer. And while I'm doing that, I'm building my business and I'm building my personal brand, and I have time to do all those things. I also have time to travel. I have time to do whatever I want. I have a girlfriend here in the Philippines that I can see, as often as I want to see her, right? I have the time to do that. I have the flexibility to do that. So life can get very good in a very short period of time if you actually do the right steps. So stay hopeful, because things can change in a very short period of time if you do the work, given you do the work. And it's not as much work as you think. You just got to send out a few DMs, clean up your profile. You're going to get some responses. You're going to get rejected a lot, so get used to that. But then when you get a response, you jump on an interview, you prepare for the interview, you do your research on the company, and you stay confident with whatever call you jump on, whether it's an interview or sales call. Always be confident, always believe in yourself, and speak as if you already know what the fuck you're talking about. Because if you come to the call all nervous and you downplay yourself and you downplay your expertise, it's not going to do well. When you're on these calls, leverage any form of experience that you have. Like whether you have experience with a door-to-door sales gig from the past or telephone sales or whatever it may be, use that. Tell them that, I used to do this job, I generated this much, I was the top salesman for 2 months in a row, or whatever it may be. That's going to help you massively. They're not more so looking for that much experience. They're looking for the right person to represent their business. If they see that you're a likable person, you speak well, you convey yourself well, you're professional, you have good energy and all these things, the likelihood of you getting that role is much higher than someone that has experience in remote sales or online sales, but is super awkward, is super weird, they don't have a likable personality. So don't think that you have to have a bunch of experience. I didn't have any experience when I reached out to that guy, right? And I landed a role on a fitness coaching offer with a fitness coach that has like almost 800,000 followers. And I can drop the name of this guy as well. His name is Sky Sins on Instagram. So if you look him up, you'll see he has a bunch of followers. And I reached out to him with like 2K followers and I was able to make it work. So this idea that you have to spend years and years to build a business to finally be free is not really true. Will you be rich in 2, 3 months? Absolutely not. Like, that's not going to happen. But you can start making a couple $1,000s per month, which is going to replace your current income and allow you to get some freedom so you can travel, network, build your personal brand, build a business on the side, and do so many amazing things. So, if this is something you've wanted to do for a long time, start doing exactly that. Start following these steps, and I promise you, you'll get some traction and things will start looking better for you. So, this is what I did for myself. It worked very well. Now I live a life that, I dreamt of living a few years ago, right? And most of my friends aren't doing this. They're still back home in Sweden while I'm in the Philippines and I'm doing whatever I want. And yeah, I built a skill set that allows me to live this life. Now, you don't have to be, again, you don't have to be a professional. You don't have to be an absolute expert in sales to be able to get started on this. You just have to have the right kind of personality. You have to have some charisma. You have to be likable as a person, and you will go a long way. So try this out, and I promise you, you'll get amazing results. Because if you're serious about changing your life, this is probably the quickest and easiest way of doing it. So start doing it, and I promise you, you'll see some results. And once you do see some results, get back to this comment section and tell me about your experience. Because if I can change just one person's life with this video and help someone on the path, then that's gonna make me a very happy man. So go ahead and do that right now. You don't have to love sales. You're not gonna do it forever. I know I don't love sales, but it's probably one of the most important skills that you can have, if not the most important skill. So you're not gonna do it forever, but you're gonna learn a skill that you can leverage forever in anything that you do, whether it's content creation, AI automation, or any business that you start after that or alongside that you get up and running. So do this and don't quit when it gets hard, and yeah, you'll get amazing results. Cheers, guys.